Hi, Total Recapped here. Today we will be going through the events of the 2003 action sci-fi movie The Matrix Reloaded, directed by Lana and Lily Wachowski. Warning, this video contains spoilers, so watch at your own risk. Now let's get right into the movie. In the beginning, a girl named Trinity is on a motorbike, crashing into a building and engaging with a group of guards. After knocking them out, she makes a call claiming that she is in. Then she transforms into some sort of binary code and teleports to another place. This place that she reaches is what everyone calls the Matrix, a virtual dimension. In the Matrix, Trinity is confronted by an agent on mid-air gunfire falling from a building. She is shot by one of the bullets fired by the agent. Trinity falls onto a car by a road. Suddenly, the protagonist of the movie, Neo, wakes up in bed next to Trinity, realizing it was just a nightmare. Later, two men named Morpheus and Link are seen flying on a ship. After nesting the ship into a cave, Morpheus tells Link that if he wants to volunteer for this mission, he has to trust Morpheus completely. Then, a group is seen gathered inside the Matrix in an underground bunker. In the meeting, Captain Niobe reports that the machines have begun drilling towards Zion, the safe haven for humans. Commander Locke requests that all ships return to Zion and prepare to defend it. In the meantime, they are joined by Morpheus, Trinity, and Neo. Morpheus resists, wanting at least one ship to stay. Meanwhile, a car approaches the meeting site and an opponent agent comes out of it. Suddenly, Neo senses something is suspicious. Meanwhile, the opponent agent asks a young guard to deliver a package and a message to Neo. The package contains an earpiece. Neo orders the guards to leave, warning that agents have arrived. Suddenly, there's banging on the door and three agents break in but are confronted by Neo. After an intense battle, Neo successfully knocks out an agent and he takes a flight to the sky, leaving the other two behind. These two agents are the main Agent Smith and his replica. Later, Neo arrives in an apartment looking for someone only to find the place empty. Following this, Morpheus and his ship, the Nebuchadnezzar, enter Zion dramatically. Upon arrival, Captain Mifune and several military patrols greet Morpheus and his crew and escort Morpheus to Locke's office. Eventually, a teenager excitedly greets Nebuchadnezzar's crew and offers to help Neo with anything. At Locke's office, Morpheus and Locke clash in their beliefs concerning the best way to defend Zion. Locke is angry at Morpheus for leaving one ship behind, disobeying his direct order to bring all ships back to Zion. Just then, Counselor Hammond, a senior member of Zion's Council of Elders, interrupts their conversation. Hammond shares that he wants to assemble Zion's population that night and speak to them but is unsure what to say, thus asks for Morpheus and Locke's opinion. Link and the kid leave Neo and Trinity alone in an elevator. When the doors open, Neo finds that the sick and destitute of Zion have come to him for guidance, treating him as a Christ figure. Trinity leaves Neo, telling him that the people of Zion need him. Link returns to his wife Z. Z worries about Link's volunteer status with Morpheus, but Link assures her that he trusts Neo in his ways. At nighttime, an assembly is conducted in the Great Cave of Zion. Counselor Hammond addresses the mass and gives Morpheus an opportunity to speak to them. Morpheus tells the people the truth about the impending attack from the machines, but immediately inspires them with his fearlessness. The Zionists celebrate with a sweaty, pulsing underground rave. Simultaneously, Neo and Trinity make love in private, but Neo cannot seem to get rid of Trinity's death playing on his mind like in a nightmare. Meanwhile, in the Matrix, two renegade hackers flee from the agents. One man makes his exit, but another named Bane is intercepted by one of the two, Agent Smith. Smith slices his hand into Bane's chest, infecting Bane's body with a fluid that consumes him. Smith successfully infiltrates Zion by taking over Bane's body. Neo walks outside his room overlooking the sleeping city of Zion restlessly, knowing that something isn't right but unsure what to do. Suddenly, someone knocks on Trinity's door. A person appears and tells Neo that the Oracle, a program he has been looking for, has summoned him. Upon hearing this, Morpheus and his crew prepare to leave. As Neo readies to board the Nebuchadnezzar, he is approached by the kid who offers him a gift. The gift is a spoon that someone instructed the kid to deliver. Neo then gets into the Matrix and enters a door into a wood and paper temple-like structure. The Oracle's protector, Seraph, welcomes him politely, then begins to fight him. The two fight throughout the temple. At last, Seraph says that he had to be sure Neo was the person who he thought, and the only way to do that was to fight him. Leading Neo down a white hallway full of doors, Seraph opens a door onto a city playground where the Oracle sits on a bench. Neo begins to realize that Seraph and the Oracle are not humans, but parts of the machine program that constitutes the Matrix, a fact that the Oracle confirms. Wondering aloud how he can then trust her, she replies that he has to choose for himself what to believe in. She explains everything in the Matrix is a program, but the noticeable ones are the ones that aren't working. She affirms that Neo can now see outside of time. He asks Oracle about his frightful vision of Trinity. The Oracle says he can't see beyond the choices he doesn't yet understand. As their time together ends, she tells Neo he must see the Keymaker and gain access to the source of the Matrix. But she also mentions that the Keymaker has been imprisoned by some dangerous program. She adds if he can't complete the task, Zion will fall. After Oracle leaves, Agent Smith arrives there. He tries to replicate himself inside Neo as he did with Bane, but Neo resists it, beginning a colossal street fight that pits Neo against Smith and dozens of Smith's copies. However, Neo eventually escapes from the Matrix again. Back in the ship, Neo expresses his queries regarding Smith's ability to replicate himself. Meanwhile, back at Zion, Locke addresses the Council and emphasizes the seriousness of the machine threat, requesting them to hold all ships in port as nothing has been heard from the Nebuchadnezzar. The Council overrules him and asks for 2 volunteers to search for the Nebuchadnezzar. Captain Soren from the Vigilant volunteers to do the job, and to Locke's surprise, Captain Niobe and the Logos also do the same. In an effort to find the Keymaker, Morpheus, Trinity, and Neo get into the Matrix. They visit the Merovingian, the dangerous man Oracle that mentioned earlier at his upscale restaurant in the Matrix. He dines with his wife Persephone. In their conversation, he suggests that the 3 don't understand why they've come or why they need the Keymaker. They simply obey the Oracle's order automatically. He refuses to let them see the Keymaker. Merovingian's most dangerous henchmen called the twins to escort Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus to the elevator. It opens onto a floor where they are surprised and greeted by Persephone. She escorts them into a fancy bathroom and requests a kiss from Neo in exchange for the Keymaker. Upon hearing this, Trinity draws a gun at her. However, she insists, saying that if she lies to them, Trinity can kill her where she stands. Eventually, Neo kisses her with Trinity standing by. A satisfied Persephone leads them to the Keymaker, who is waiting for Neo. As they leave, the Merovingian and his gang confront the group. Seeing the Keymaker freed, he orders an attack on all of them. The Keymaker flees while Morpheus and Trinity run to help. However, Neo stays to fight the rest in the Great Hall. The group rain bullets at Neo, but he miraculously stops them midair. An extended battle and chase sequence ensues, which ends up with Neo's victory, making the Merovingian run away. Meanwhile, the twins chase Morpheus and Trinity into a parking lot where they battle. Trinity gets into a car and drives it around, leading the chase on the city streets. Just as Neo aims to catch up with the others in the parking lot, the twins close the door. When Neo forces it open, he is suddenly miles away, high up in a mountain range. Eventually, agents also arrive on the scene and try to capture Morpheus and his company. However, Link guides Trinity, Morpheus, and the Keymaker onto the freeway through their communication device. During the chase at one point, Trinity and Morpheus split up. Trinity grabs the Keymaker and rides on a motorbike on a highway. Meanwhile, Morpheus is approached by the speeding twins' SUV. Morpheus draws his sword and slices the gas tank of the twins' vehicle and fires bullets to make it explode. Following this, the Keymaker is seen to be captured by one agent on a speeding trailer. As the agent is about to kill him, Morpheus approaches in a car driven by Niobe, who had arrived just in time for help. Morpheus succeeds in saving the Keymaker from the agent. But then, Morpheus and the Keymaker stand helplessly while an agent drives the truck directly toward another truck also driven by his copy. Eventually, the trucks smash into each other, erupting into balls of flame. Surprisingly, in midair, Morpheus and the Keymaker are saved by Neo. However, in Zion, Sentinels relentlessly grind away into the earth. On the other side, the Keymaker, Morpheus, Soren, and Niobe gather into a room. The Keymaker explains to them that the one door in the primary skyscraper leads to the source of the Matrix. To access it, the units have to work together and knock out power in a massive grid for which they will have only 314 seconds. Morpheus and crew strike the site at midnight during a shift change of security guards. Neo, being worried about Trinity, asks her to stay behind, to which she reluctantly agrees. Meanwhile, during their attack, Sentinels discover Soren's ship and disable it, killing Soren and all of his crew. Therefore, the emergency power system remains engaged. Link can't contact Neo, so Trinity has to enter or they would miss their only chance. Therefore, Link patches her near the skyscraper and Trinity flies on a motorcycle, taking out a group of guards as seen by Neo in his nightmares. At the same time, the Keymaker leads Morpheus and Neo, but they are confronted by Smith and his replicas. A fight ensues during which Morpheus is nearly consumed by Smith, but Neo saves him. Meanwhile, Trinity finds Soren's lifeless crew and hacks into the emergency backup system, disabling it grid by grid. Just as the system finally falls, the Keymaker sneaks out and opens the correct door. At the sound of the click, all the fighters stop and turn. Neo grabs Morpheus and flies him through the crowd of Smiths, diving through the door just as the Keymaker closes it. The Smiths empty their guns as the door shuts, killing the Keymaker. As he dies, he gives Neo the key to the correct door from around his neck. Neo inserts it and blinding light immediately surrounds him. Then Neo finds himself in an all-white room ringed by monitors where he meets the architect and creator of the Matrix. He reveals that his original perfect Matrix failed because he didn't understand the frailty and flawed nature of the human mind. He also reveals that Neo has got 2 doors with respective choices. Walking through one door will lead to the death of Trinity but the salvation of humanity. Walking through the other door will give Neo the chance to save Trinity, but doing this will likely lead to a permanent elimination of all humanity. In the end, Neo chooses to save Trinity. Trinity finds herself fulfilling the nightmarish visions that Neo has been having of her. Trying to escape, she's met by an agent at an elevator. Ez falls off the skyscraper in an attempt to escape, but the agent follows her. Suddenly, Neo flies through the city in a blaze unlike anything seen before. As in Neo's vision, a bullet strikes Trinity, but just before she hits the ground, Neo swoops in and catches her and successfully eliminates the agent following her. After soaring carefully to the top of the building, Trinity dies in Neo's arms, but he resurrects her. Back on the Nebuchadnezzar, their ship, Neo reveals the falsity of the prophecy to Morpheus. Sentinels show up near the ship. Neo senses that they're building a bomb, so the crew evacuates the ship. The Sentinels attack, but Neo can feel their presence. He stops running and disables them all with his newfound powers to connect with machines without wires. Then, exhausted, he collapses and enters a coma. Captain Roland's ship, the Hammer, swoops in to pick up the crew of the Nebuchadnezzar. The crew of the Hammer relates a pointless tragedy in which 5 ships were lost by an improperly discharged explosive. The only survivor is Smith, disguised as Bane, who lies in a coma right next to Neo in the Hammer's medical bay. And that was my recap of the movie. Hope you enjoyed it. Now comment on what your favorite part was, and make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, take care, and goodbye.